What is up, car addicts? Welcome back to the series where I customize and review past DLC and OG vehicles I never got the chance to because I didn't start making car customization videos till about late 2015. Again guys, let me know in the comments what car from late 2015 and older you want to see me customize next, and I'll display the most liked vehicle suggestion comment in the next customization video. So in today's video, we're going to be customizing the Grotti X80 Proto. Now, I did customize this car in the past, but that was an old video with no commentary, so a lot of you guys wanted me to re-customize it for this video. But anyways, this car came out with the Further Adventures in Finance and Felony update in June of 2016 and can be purchased from a Legendary Motorsport website for about $2.7 million, which is just absolutely ridiculous, especially for back then where we had nowhere near the money-making strategies that we have now. So it was a very, very expensive car back then, and even now it's still very expensive as well. But anyways, in terms of performance, the X80 is of course in the supercar class and is a very fast car for straight line performance with amazing acceleration and top speed as well, putting it in top 5 for top speed, which is very impressive for a 2016 car. Now, where the X80 lacks is in terms of handling. It just lacks the downforce, and it's very strange the way it drives. It loves to come up off the ground a lot in many bumpy or kind of mountain road situations when you're taking corners. It's a very strange driving experience. Again, it drives like it really lacks downforce. Now, in terms of flat tracks like the airport, there it drives very well, but when you start incorporating elevation changes, it can get kind of sketchy with this car. And this is also the last car you want to use if you're doing a random public race, because in most of those races what happens, you come into contact with other racers, you hit each other even if it's accidental, and if anybody taps this car when you're racing, it will go flying off the track. It's just no downforce, super lightweight. It's just a mess. Your car's gonna just go flying completely off the track. It's mainly suited for, flat roads or highway roads, but it's not really that useful in most GTA racing situations. But anyways, in terms of what the X80 is based on, it's primarily based on the Ferrari F80 concept, which is a crazy concept design of what the future of Ferrari might look like. Now, there was no real sized model made out of this car, unfortunately. The most they made was a small little diecast model to get an idea of how it would look. Not really the best, but at least it was something more than just a computer rendering. It was something that they actually made a model of in real life, which is still pretty cool. Now, overall, the X80, the way it was made in GTA, I think it's an absolutely crazy and futuristic design that not everyone might like. I think people have to understand that this car was not made to look beautiful or even pleasing to the eye. It was made to look strange and just crazy and ridiculous, and I think they definitely succeeded in that. But anyways, let's go ahead and check out the customization of the X80.
What can we do to it?
Alright, X80. Alright, so we got armor, brakes, bumpers, primary front splitter, pretty nice, kind of flattens the front end with the winglets on the side, pretty nice. Secondary, and then carbon. The carbon definitely looks the best. This car has a ton of carbon all over the place, so I think the carbon matches the best with it. Engine, exhaust, so stock exhaust, you can see they're kind of like rectangular. This one's pretty much the same, it just adds a line in the middle. It makes it a quad exhaust, so pretty interesting there. I guess it looks a little better. Okay, lights, throw some xenons. Oh, we already got the xenons, okay, perfect. Plate, so for this we already got my Ferrari plate on there, so we'll just give it a black background. Okay, so in terms of color for this car, most people, they think Ferrari and they just want to paint it red. Personally, I prefer the white and red color combination for this car, which is also a very popular color combination for this car in GTA, but I just think it looks amazing. So we're going to do the white, but we're going to give it a little twist. So we're going to go metallic ice white, and then we're going to give it a diamond blue pearlescent to make it a pearl white, which looks a bit better. Boom. And then we're going to go here to secondary. We're going to make that match to ice white. And then we're going to go to trim, which is the interior color, and that's all it changes. Personally, I would have liked if they would have linked either the trim or the accent color to the shocks that you can see there that are like blue and yellow. I wish the springs would have been, you know, the color you choose or something. But yeah, unfortunately they're forced in that blue and yellow color combination, or gold, which doesn't really look the best, but you know, it's whatever, I guess. At least they even put that detail in there, which does look pretty cool. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and go with the red here. If I can find it, I probably passed it. Yes, I did. Okay, here we go. We're going to go Torino red. See how it changes here. It's the center of the seats, and then the dash and the door panels looks pretty good there. So we'll do that. Accent color. This is probably my favorite part of this car. And it has a nice like pinstripe. You can see it here. Painted up. There you go, like bright color so you can see it. So it starts at the nose and then it works its way around. And it kind of stops right there at the fenders. And then you have more of it down below on the sides. And then it kind of works its way to the inside here, the bumper area. I mean, really cool the way they did that. And then it ends right here at the end. And then it has another piece that I guess kind of continues the line where the front fender stopped to the quarter panels. You can see it there going straight across. I mean, it's really, really cool the way they did that. It's a nice look. And of course, it also continues on to the trim of the stock wheels, which is very nice as well. So we're definitely going to do that in red, and it just looks absolutely amazing, the red trim and all that. So do that there. Criblum for this car goes on the doors, you can see. Continuing to side skirts. The side skirt for this car is basically like a fin. It looks pretty cool where they did it. But it does kind of block off your pinstripe down here, so you can see, boom, no more pinstripe. It kind of like stops it right there. But it doesn't look too bad. It kind of flows decently there. Then you have the carbon, which I think flows the best with this, because it kind of continues that line you have going down the side. I think the carbon is the perfect option for this, and it kind of goes back up. It just looks really cool. Spoiler. So stock, this car has a spoiler back here, and it has these kind of like flaps that move when you turn. It's very, very cool, kind of like a plane. A very unique active spoiler, and one goes up when you turn and the other one stays down. I mean, it's really, really cool the way they designed it. And then of course you can add a spoiler to that. So you have the GT wing, which I think looks great. Then you have the enhanced wing, which is the same thing but with the fins on the side. Then you have the race wing, which has a really strange bracket with a reinforcement there at the center. Doesn't really look all that great. But I think the GT wing probably looks the cleanest. But even then, I mean, this car doesn't really need a wing, but it's such a crazy design already. I think the wing just looks kind of cool. All personal preference. The car itself isn't really, I wouldn't say this car is beautiful. It's unique, that's for sure. It's very, you know, crazy. And I don't think there's anything wrong with adding the GT wing to it, so we'll do that. Suspension, yeah, we're definitely going to lower it all the way. Transmission, turbo. Okay, wheels. So, I mean, I really like the stock wheels on this car, but I don't know. I feel like we can do a little better. They're just so good looking. It's kind of hard to change them. And I don't want to go to any of the street or track category stuff because on these wheels you cannot do a red trim like you can with the carbon wheels in the high-end category. But, you know, if you don't really care too much about that, the trim on the wheels, you can just do a normal black wheel. So let's see here. Track, I mean, there's just so many good looking wheels here, and I think the Forge Stars look incredible, but I don't think they have enough concave for my taste. Obviously a lot of good wheels here, but I think we might have to go to, yeah, we're gonna have to go to the street category here. Let's see. I think the Mercy concaves are probably gonna be hyper fresh. That looks really good. with the red center locks. Oh man, I think that's the one right there. I think that's the one right there. Yeah, the Mercies look good too, but oh man, you know, the Hyper Fresh. Wow, they suit. How do they look in black? Oh, that's perfection. That's it right there. Yep, that's the one we're going with. Windows. Do some light smoke, I guess. I mean, or just black it out. Black it out looks pretty sick blacked out. All right, let's do that. Limo. And that's all the options there. All right, not too bad. Let's take it for a drive.
Look after yourself.
All right, rev it up here. Sounds really good. First person. And I believe this was the first car to use this interior, the X80. Very, very unique looking. Got the carbon down the middle, kind of continuing with the carbon on the hood. And I mean, it really works the way they did this. You have that carbon stripe going down the center, and it kind of continues through the interior, as you can see there. Just a really good looking design. All right, let's floor it here. Of course, this car is all-wheel drive. And it gets up and goes very, very good. The acceleration on this thing is nuts. I believe it has the highest acceleration in the supercar class, minus the Cyclone, obviously, and any of the rocket-powered stuff. I think this one has the highest acceleration, of course, other than the Cyclone. So, as far as like gas-powered cars, I think this is the quickest one in terms of acceleration, which is just very impressive. I don't know if the Krieger is quicker. I might have to test that because the Krieger is very fast as well. That one's all-wheel drive too. But this thing, I mean, the acceleration is just, I mean, you take a corner, you turn, I mean, it's nuts. Now, the biggest downfall of this car, as I talked about earlier, is the handling. This thing is a bit of a challenge to drive, and the way it drives, it feels like it lacks downforce. It feels like it's too light, if that makes sense. It's just a really strange driving experience. It doesn't feel glued to the road. It feels very light and floaty, and that does translate to when you take corners. You gotta be very careful on certain bumpy roads, and depending on the corner, like a little jump like that, you hop up in the air a little bit, you take a corner, it's just not gonna work out. This thing needs to be, I guess it's more suited for flat roads, if that makes sense. When it comes to bumpy roads like this, it does not like it. It just wants to go up in the air, or even different roads in the hills where you're going uphill and taking a turn at the same time. Yeah, no, this car just wants to come up off the ground, and what does that mean? You lose traction, and you're not able to turn. You're going to go right off the road. So definitely an issue with this car, but I mean, you do a nice like handbrake launch. It is properly quick, and the top speed is good as well. We of course have the flaps you can see working here, so if I turn left, right, you can see very, very cool the way they did that. And I believe when you brake hard they come up. Oh, except when you hit a car. See here, and brake. Oh yeah, they both come. Oh, that's so cool. Wow. And then when you turn, one stays up, the other one goes down, just like an airplane. That is so cool. I absolutely love that design, and how they even incorporated that back in 2016. That's impressive. Now, obviously, the T20 was the first ever car GTA with an active aero function, and the X80. This one was different because it was more unique. It has the way the flaps worked and everything. I mean, it's just very, very cool. But all right, let's pull over here and open all the doors and stuff. Vehicle doors, do all. Not bad, not bad. So no front trunk in this one, sadly. You do have the gull-wing doors though, which I love. Now in terms of the engine model, I mean, it's okay. I wouldn't say it's great. I mean, 2016, I feel like they could have done a little better. This is not an OG car. I feel that's kind of a little bit of a letdown there. It's decent. I'd say it's okay, especially at a distance. It's not too bad, but when you get close up, it's really not the best. This car, you know, the design, it's a love it or hate it design. Most people, well, I wouldn't say most, but a lot of people in the community don't like this car. I think it's just plain ugly. But I think they're kind of missing the point. This car wasn't made to be designed beautifully. It wasn't meant to be a good looking car. It was meant to be a crazy and strange and kind of out there looking car, which I think they definitely succeeded in. This thing is just straight up ridiculous. You know, a lot of people, they see a black supercar and they're like, oh, that's the Batmobile, you know, they kind of make that reference. But, you know, the Batmobile is supposed to be a crazy, strange design that, I mean, it's just ridiculous looking. It doesn't really make much sense. It doesn't really flow all that well. It's supposed to just be out there. And I think that's what this car looks like. I mean, this right here is the Batmobile, if you ask me. Painted all black. This thing is just ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty cool design. I love how they did the flying buttresses back here, kind of similar to the 2017 Ford GT. Of course, we have the FMJ in the game, which is kind of similar in that regard. And then the way they did the exhaust, so they have like these carbon panels here, and then the exhaust kind of come out through right there, which looks really good. Of course, the active spoiler with the flaps that turn and all that. And I mean, the overall design, I think it's really cool, really different. The only thing I'm not too much of a fan of is the nose. I don't like the way they did that. It looks kind of like a boat or something right at the nose. I feel like they could have done a little better there. That's the only part of this car that I don't really like. I call it the boat nose. Just not that great. But the rest of it I think is really cool. Even the headlights. I mean, the headlights on this thing are pretty nice too. We go here to remote functions. There we go. Look at that. Just so cool. Now they do kind of clip through the bodywork a little bit, so when you go up higher here, I wouldn't say clip, they shine through the bodywork. So that's kind of annoying. You can see that there, it's shining through the bodywork like if it's see-through or something. And the tail lights are pretty cool as well. But yeah, overall, I think it's a cool car, but again, the price of this thing, $2.7 million plus upgrades. It's basically a $3 million supercar. I think that's way overpriced for what this car is. I think there's many better cars you can get out there in this price range. You know, Emmerich Krieger and the Wagner, which is one of the best values on the game for performance. This thing, I just think it's priced way too high. This thing should be under $2 million, at least in my opinion. 1.8, 1.9, somewhere around there, or even 2 million flat. That's kind of pushing it. But I don't know. I guess you can kind of argue too. You know, it is a crazy concept car, so it should be that expensive. But there's arguments to be made in almost any scenario. If you really want it, I'd wait for it to be on sale on the casino podium or what have you. I would definitely would not pay full price for this thing. But anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed. Remember to let me know down below in the comments what car from late 2015 and older you want to see me customize next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.